buy anything. Blood and dope and sin and gold. Here you can buy anything. Blood and dope and sin and gold. Here you can buy anything. Blood and dope and sin and gold. Here you can buy anything. Or anybody.
Beware this beauty. She's a beast.
Goddess of birth and death.
Lusting for blood. More vicious than the man-eating shark. She lives to kill.
Bring your drink with you. We drink together. Do everything together.
Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary. Why must your lovers die?
That was Arthur Jensen, businessman on a fishing trip in Mexico.
Behind a facade of beauty, the powers of darkness reached out. And this beautiful girl was programmed to murder. Death becomes a living thing. Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, must all your lovers die?
Well, my people will be happy if I can just report this as an ordinary homicide, without political implications.
A Mardi Gras of mirth.
Who are you? Let's go!
Of terror running wild. Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary will turn your blood to ice for the devil's cocktail.
Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, how does your garden grow?
Very bloody. Next
Yeah,
week.
I guess we know.
Next week, two more dangerous
Go ahead.
ladies. Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, from the director of Alucarda. It's, I don't know if it's as weird, but it's pretty fucking weird. And Marta, which we showed, we're also going to show. So two very dangerous women to fall in love with next week. Pretty exciting. Have you seen Mary?
I can't wait to.
Have you ever seen it, Bill?
No, I don't think I have.
Mm.
It's one of those movies like I kind of thought I had seen it, but then I started doing the trailer and I was like, oh, maybe I haven't seen this. So I think that'll be a first time watch for me. And Marta, I have seen, but I don't remember anything about it. I saw it on Chiller Theater so long ago. So
I think you're gonna love the first time watch. the pacing of both. You're glacial. Uh,
You know how I roll.
Yeah. Very, Very Bloody Mary has some Messiah of Evil tones too, so I think you'll enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's got
Vince
like
played
that
Bloody Mary.
mystery father who might be, spoiler warning, earmuffs, might be evil, might be behind a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah. It's going to all happen next week.
And all Mary's lovers die, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's not as much screaming as Alucarda, but there's a lot of screaming. A lot of blood, too. If you got two Marys and a bloody in it, it's going to be, it's going to go for it.
Marta isn't bloody at all, is it?
No. It's very psychological, erotic horror.
It's kind of Blood Mania,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of Blood Mania vibes in it.
Yeah, it's good. I dig it. It's very it's kind of gothic horror, but like updated for the now generation.
The now generation.
Yeah.
That was now about 50 years ago.
Yeah, 1972, the now generation, the kids. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying up late with us. This is a late night.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad. It seems like people seem to enjoy Frightmare.
I know Sean loves it.
Yeah, some of the dumbest people ever. I mean, everybody in this movie was dumb.
Can we talk?
Yeah, I mean, you said it the best, Bill. That house is a prison. That house has no windows. Don't go to fortune tellers. They're not going to do anything for you. I've watched enough Unsolved Mysteries to know the scams.
Yeah, I mean, not only was she scamming people, she was murdering them too. She was a real winner.
When Becca and her friend Amy went to that Sounds of the Lambs thing, they had angel ladies there, the ladies that read your cards, like the tarot kind of readers.
Yeah.
And they did like a cold reading, so I did a cold reading after it for them. They're like, yeah, you did the same thing she did. Like, you asked the same questions. I'm like, yeah, I know. So that's my next side gig after wrestling. I'm going to go into being a kind of carny kind of. I'm going to make a storefront downtown here. People are going to come in and I'll just set them straight about their
You
lives.
were not reading. You weren't watching American Horror Story New York City.
No, I wasn't.
Were you? Oh, okay. Because there was the cards in this movie kind of reminded me of this element in this season where there was Sandra Bernhard was played this. Well, she didn't start out as a tarot reader.
At the mention of her name, so yeah.
Oh yeah, she had a pretty big part in it.
Oh man!
But she was this woman that ended up working for a tarot reader, and it was Patty Lupone. Patty Lupone ran this bathhouse, and she also ran this little place where you would go and get your cards read, and she taught her how to read the cards. And she's like, okay, you can take your lunch break at such and such a time. But Sandra Bernhard started reading people's cards, and of course every card she turned over was death. And Dorothy had that problem too.
But death isn't the death card really in tarot. It just means a change in your life. It doesn't mean death. Not to go too deep into my magic use, but yeah, that's how it works.
Well, that's what she said too, but it did mean death.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I like whenever you get. I've dated a lot of girls that do it, and the scariest part is like when you get a reading and they're like, "Ooh, huh," and then they have to get out a book and start consulting, and they're like, "This doesn't," and then they just start stuttering like that, like yeah, cool, great story.
Imagine.
But everybody was pretty dumb. Who had it the worst though? The husband. The husband is he waited all that time for her to get out of the insane asylum, and he was so excited that she finally got her life back together, and that fucking kid showed up with the shitty biker boyfriend. And
well, that was his first mistake. He was totally committed literally, but he was committed to this relationship with this woman who was not only did she have some personality issues, okay, she was way beyond that. She
Yeah.
had murdering issues, and yet he was so devoted to her that he would help her kill and ultimately helped her kill his own daughter,
Yeah.
which is pretty sick.
Yeah. Because he loved her. I mean, I don't know.
This movie is about broken families,
Yeah.
and it does it better than Hereditary.
Yeah.
This was
Well,
something that was realistic. At
yeah.
least on some level, this movie was realistic, but it was just as horrifying as the idea of ghosts or whatever the fuck Hereditary had going on with it. I don't really even remember. But this one stuck with me forever because it was just so gut wrenching
Well, this movie
to
could
see.
happen too. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel. There's no supernatural element to it. This is just people not being able to be healed, and no matter how much work and effort you put into them. Also, even the real daughter was like trying to keep her mother sane by like playing a trick on her,
She
and
was
that
pretending to bring her human body parts.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like
she was just as bad as the rest of them.
yeah,
And she not only that, she didn't prepare the younger daughter for what she was ultimately going to have to face, and she had to have known
I
that
think
one
she
day she.
was even worse than everybody because she did it supposedly for altruistic reasons, but didn't tell anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like she made a decision for somebody else's life that she had to do that.
She was, yeah, she was just, yeah, right. She took the choice away from the younger daughter.
Yeah.
But see, like you said, these are real things that happen in real families. And I've heard things like this, not cannibalism. I have yet to hear cannibalism, but I've heard some pretty awful things
But
about
you could
families.
take cannibalism out and replace it with alcoholism or pill
Yeah,
addiction or sexual addiction or gambling. Like it's just a different addiction that she has in the movie. And you could replace it with those things and still have the same story. But you know, this takes it into the fantastic world that we like to get into more. But
they called her a pathological cannibal.
yeah,
She couldn't help it. She
the
was
girl
just
can't help it. Like the
she
movie.
was driven to cannibalism.
Yeah, I mean, I,
Oh, there was a story. There was a reason, a trigger for it. The thing that happened with her pet rabbit.
yeah. But do you think that that was just her excuse for it? Like, or do you know what I mean? Like, I often think
Totally.
sometimes triggers are just like, well, you know, I couldn't be helped because, you know, I just watched the whole Unsolved Mysteries today about the Boston Strangler, and they like kept putting him under hypnosis. You know what I mean? And they kept saying, but they would lead him in hypnosis the whole time, and they would be like, but your mother treated you poorly, right? Like, well, that's not the way you ask these questions. You let people come to it.
Are you sure she wasn't a cannibal, Darren?
Yeah.
Maybe
How
she
can
just
we
hit
be
it
sure?
very well. Yeah, she hit it very well.
How about that tank top that dude was wearing?
That would get so much money in a vintage shop today.
Oh, yeah. There are some in bell bottoms. This movie definitely had a mid 70s vibe of clothing.
I liked that there was a biker element to this movie.
Yeah. British bikers never seem as intimidating as their American counterparts, though.
They still kicked the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
They beat up the bartender that was going to report her for being underage.
Yeah. But they're not like, you know, werewolves on wheels or anything.
No. No, in fact, they were pretty. They weren't as bad as the Living Dead and Psychomania.
No, they were maybe a more mod gang than a bike club, maybe. Darren is positive that his mother. Oh, but he didn't say I'm positive she wasn't a cannibal. He just said I'm positive. So, who's to say?
What about Big Meat Eater?
Oh man,
Vince
it's a
brought that up.
Canadian musical. Yeah. How would you react?
Town.
I don't know how I would react it. My mom's vegetarian, so I don't think she would be a cannibal.
But
Imagine
are you sure?
I. She's never eaten human flesh in my company.
Well, she
Nor-
wouldn't. She wouldn't want you to know.
But if you're a pathological person, you would. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like someone that drinks. You would find booze hidden around the house. Like I would find a leg hidden inside the toilet. Like
You wouldn't because
But-
she ate it.
Yeah. No, I think my mom's more of a hoarder than a cannibal. Darren is positive that she wasn't a cannibal. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad. Yeah. I always
Soylent
wondered that as a
Green.
kid, like if I accidentally ate like a finger on a pizza, and you know what I mean, and then I found out that that pizza was really good. It's like Texas Chainsaw 2 sets that up. It's like the Sawyer family is really famous for their chili. Like their chili wins all these cook-offs.
They like it.
Yeah, Motel Hell, like Farmer Vitter's Fritters, or whatever. They're the best in the world because they get a secret ingredient. Maybe that ingredient is people buried up to their necks in the sand, but or the dirt. But
I still don't understand the logistics of that, but never mind.
There's times as I walk, because I walk a couple miles a day now, where I just think about Motel Hell. Like what? Like there's a lot. That movie really goes. Sorry to use this pun. It really goes around the barn a lot to get to where it has to go. You're like, really? Do you need to do all that? Like we just want to see him put on the pig mask and have a chainsaw fight. That's all we ask of that movie. You don't have to give us. I guess it gives us more. But I don't know. I think if you found out your parent was a cannibal, it's worse than if you found out they were an alcoholic or they were addicted to drugs, because that's a socially acceptable thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is beyond murder.
Yeah.
It's not just a murder that your parent committed. It was cannibalism.
And how long was she in the thing? Like a long time, long enough for the daughters to grow up, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, there's this one line that Sheila Keith has in the movie is like, they took my daughter away from me. So she must have had the baby right around the time that she was committed.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was in prison for like, what, 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the daughter was 15.
That's significantly less in the U.S. than she would be in jail for.
But yeah, that was the people in this movie were so foolish. Like everybody was so easily manipulated. It was just this big web of people lying to each other. Like the older Jackie was lying to her younger sister about her own family history, even though Jackie knew apparently what the truth was. That's the other thing too. It was full of people that were telling lies to people that already knew the truth. Like,
yeah.
When Graham goes to the house and pretends that he wants a reading, they already know who he is. So
the husband was the worst liar because he was lying to himself that his wife could be sane.
Yeah.
Like he kept saying, "Oh, she's healed." Like, but a lot of times he wasn't saying it to anybody more than just himself. I think he wanted her to come back and things to be like they were, but even as they were horrible too. She was eating people. It's almost like, in a weird way, she was cheating on him. Do you know what I mean? Like she was going outside the marriage for sustenance. Do you know what I mean? It's
some kind of illicit behavior.
Yeah. You can look at
I just
that
don't.
way too.
I don't know what her game plan was. She had this barn full of bodies now, and she didn't even eat very much. She only wanted their brain, I guess, or she took the first guy. She seemed to like to take meat off their face.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, the psychiatrist says, yeah, she liked to eat brains. She was fascinated by eating the brain. So, which is, I guess, why they came up with the title Brain Suckers in Detroit.
Yeah, oh, that makes sense. It's funny that when people talk about Jack the Ripper, they're so upset about him eating a liver at one point. It's like, well, he did a lot of other stuff too. Do you know what I mean? Like, was that really the worst thing he did? I heard a comedian talking about going on a Jack the Ripper tour, and they were like, he killed 5 people. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm from America. Like, we kind of do that every couple of
Yeah.
days. That happens. Like,
Ooh.
you build a tourist industry around 5 people. Like, let me take you some places. But it was a different time. This feels like it's funny because like Pete Walker's movies don't get into the video nasty list, which seems weird, right? Like there's that scene where the boyfriend gets killed, the motorcycle boyfriend. Very
Yeah.
it's rough. Like
It's brutal.
it's not that even that it's that gory. It's just very like just the intent that they attack him with feels so realistic and so just unhinged, if you will.
Do you think that Mrs. Abercrombie from Warlock Moon and Dorothy, played by Sheila Keith, would they have made good roommates?
Oh my god, they would be great. They should all move to. They should just all live in the house with what do you call it? Terror house. They should all just go there. They have
They
that
could go to the Red Wolf Inn.
Red Wolf Inn. I mean, yeah, because they have that great freezer that could fit a couple bodies. You know, and they already have Red Wolf Inn already has a system of getting impressionable college students to come and hang out for a week.
Yeah.
You know,
They've got their human trafficking down, so
yeah,
they could just go and benefit from it. The problem solved. She could bring her little old lady tarot card reader act with her
yeah,
too.
yeah. I could totally see that happening, and everybody would get along quite well. She could bring
We
her
should
daughter.
do that, like a movie about a senior home for like Farmer Vincent and his
Oh,
sister and the Red Wolf Inn folks and
oh
Sheila Key.
man,
Well,
we can have the brother and
Dorothy's
sister.
surely dead by now.
The brother and sister from American Gothic can be there as well. Just murderous.
There's so many cannibals. Yeah.
Yeah, do it. They could live in Point Doom. They have a whole town already where people eat people at the grocery store.
They can't wait.
Yeah, so I like it. Yeah, this is It's funny because you can look at this film as sensationalistic, or you could, as we just did, really get into the intellectual story of it, and I think that's what's really great about it.
There's more to it. There is a compelling story at the root of this movie, even though it seems almost unintentional. Like they didn't mean for it to be so resonant.
Well, I think you can really see too in the couple years between the two movies, and I think Pete Walker got to be a better filmmaker. I think that they're both great, but like I think he really figured out ways of making his movies even more. For the first, Flesh and Blood show is kind of just like a shocker, but the second one sticks with you a little bit more. You're kind of
Frightmare is way more shocking than the Flesh and Blood show.
You're left with a lot of like just doomy kind of thoughts at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like there's no happiness for anybody at the end.
Yeah, that movie has implications. Flesh and Blood show is all about atmosphere.
Yeah,
being eerie. It's more of an experience. But Frightmare gets inside your head.
Yeah, that's what I dig about it. Frightmare is a way better title. I like Brain Suckers, but Brain Suckers makes it seem like it's going to be wacky.
The murders really aren't the point of the film.
Yeah,
it's
not
about
what murder does. I guess it's about addiction and what murder or like what sins do to a whole family when people don't deal with it.
Once you break down that taboo of murdering people for whatever reason, it's frightening to consider that what that would do in a family like this.
Also for the husband, like his self-esteem issues are so bad. Like why wouldn't do you know what I mean? Like why wouldn't he just leave? Like instead of waiting 15 years for her.
It's no wonder that. I didn't understand the part about them being committed together. Like, why were they allowed to be committed together? Even if he did feign mental illness, which is what the psychiatrist says. He's like, I think he was faking it in order to stay with her. But why would they let him stay with her? Like, you've been in prison. You've been locked up,
Yeah, they don't let male and female prisoners stay in the same. I mean, I don't pretend to understand the British mental system, but yeah. But
I like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I really do enjoy it. It's I like all Pete Walker stuff. I like House of Long Shadows even. I dig him. He was he's a good, like, he's not somebody that people talk about. Norman J. Warren's the same way. Nobody talks about either one of them in the same breath as other genre directors, but they really made some good shit. You know what I mean? Like they made movies that stick with me and I think about a lot. So, bravo.
Congratulations to Scott Porter,
Yes.
who was the winner of our raffle for Death Game. Oh, did I move it? Well, I don't know where I am.
I got
know,
you.
here it is.
There it is.
It was here. You won this copy of Death Game, Scott Porter, and I will mail this to you this week so that you can dig into this weird and wonderful movie from 1977 that Grindhouse Releasing has meticulously restored and presented in this great package. And thanks to them for sharing this copy of Death Game with us to give away.
Sean, thanks for mentioning that that Pete Walker did some episodes of the Avengers. Also, you know who else did some episodes of the Avengers? Robert Faust. Faust, how do you say it? The director of Dr. Phibes.
Oh, right.
He came from that as well. So, hey, you want to see what came in the mail this week, Bill?
Yes, please.
This one's really exciting. These are white label ones. These are from Arrow, but this is the Arrow Shaw Scope 2 set, which I'm super excited about.
Oh.
The second Shaw releasing, and one of my favorite ones is in there, The Boxer's Omen, which is really a wild movie. And the 3 of the 36 Chambers movies, which are really good. This is the last Arrow set was really great. And if you subscribe to the Arrow Player, they're also all going to come online on the Arrow Player at the same time. So pretty exciting. Bill, these next ones I'm really excited. I'm going to show you in order of excitement. This one I'm excited about, but you will be more excited about the other ones. This is the 4K of Reservoir Dogs from Lionsgate, which is pretty sweet. Can't believe it's the 30th anniversary. Boy, let's feel old, right? This came out 30 years ago. Wow. But super excited for that. All right, Bill, these are the ones I was excited to share with you. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
4K of Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. From VCI, and a new intro by Alan Ormsby, and a 90-minute documentary about Bob Clark's horror movies, also on the disc. And then it has everything that came from the Blu-ray edition, including 2 music videos about the movie. So pretty exciting. There's a different cover inside too from the slip. And that's from VCI, which you can get on the MVD site, which is pretty cool. All right, you ready? Creature from Black Lake. What? On Blu-ray from Synapse. Pretty exciting. One of Dean Cundy's early movies. And 2 college guys decided to go full round with young Southern girls and meet a Sasquatch. Finally, Bill, probably the movie you'll be most excited about. This also came from, I don't know what company put this out, honestly. MVD sent it, though. But super excited. After Effects.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is the Memories of Pittsburgh Filmmaking with Joe Pilato, Tom Savini, George Romero, and John Harrison, all about the making of effects, which is pretty sweet. I know Bill loves effects so much, but that's MVD carrying it. Yeah, I'm saving this one for you as well. So pretty exciting about that. When I got that in the mail, I was like, I almost texted you, I'm like, I'm going to save it for the show so I can get Bill's excitement on it. I know how much you love effects. But you can get that on the MVD store as well, mvdshop.com. They also have a really great sale going on now. Some movies are as cheap as 99 cents, believe it or not. And I think shipping's $5.99 flat shipping for the whole order. They have a lot of really cool stuff on there. So,
99 cents.
Yeah, for some DVDs, yeah. Also, I'm sure everybody kind of participated in the Severance sale. Matt, I'm sorry. It's a lot of work to get these. It's taken me like 4 years to get to this point, or 5 years.
Matt apparently has the same stalker as Olivia Newton-John had in the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you remember that guy that was stalking Olivia Newton-John and he was obsessed with the eyes? I think he killed. He killed people in his family.
It's very Manhunter, like how he took the glass and put it into all the pictures of the victims and then did it in their real eyes in Manhunter. Also, Thursday, my wife was like, her mom was asking me, but I was like so excited about Thursday night after Thanksgiving. She's like, that's just the night Sam likes his movies. She goes, nobody cared about this before. They realized people like Sam would stay up till midnight to buy movies. I was like, you guys are getting up at 6 a.m. to go Black Friday shopping. So
Yeah, there's
I'm doing it from my couch. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going out in the cold. But really excited. The Argento set is sold out and I got one. So super jazzed about getting 4 Flies on Grey Velvet and the 5 days and the book and the pins. So I'll probably be raffling off the pins on the shows. What am I going to do with them? And I also got Blood on Melly's Moon as well. That's all I bought. I didn't buy anything on the Vinegar Syndrome site. But I saw like some hints of their stuff for next year, and I think I will definitely be spending a lot more next year. Now, I do want that Homegrown Horror Set Volume 2 because the first one was really great. So maybe, I don't know. If I have another drink tonight, I'll definitely be going back to this. I'm like, then I'll be going to the Grindhouse site and ordering stuff from Grindhouse Releasing site. There's a lot of stuff.
right.
Also, at the same time, there is a sale going on at Barnes & Noble for Criterion stuff. And back was at the Barnes & Noble in Irwinville, they have an Arrow section in the store now. That's fucking dangerous.
Ooh.
She's like, they have some set Gothic Fantastic. I'm like, thank God I have it. Because she's like, it's got like all movies you like. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But luckily they sent it to me. So. But super excited about the Shaw Brothers set. Because the first one is really good. They picked some really wild ones for the second one. I'm really hoping that they do Inframan for the third one. Though it's there, right? They could do it. They could make a really nice 4K Blu-ray of it. Let's do it. Let's make it.
How about Blood Beach?
Yeah, right?
Where's Blood Beach?
Where's Blood Beach? Arrow.
Shaw Brothers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. They did some of that.
That's a Shaw Brothers.
Yeah, you're right. Run, Shaw.
Run, Shaw.
Yeah, there's also a documentary on the set where Run, Shaw actually does a walkthrough of their headquarters while they're filming a couple of the movies. And you can see scenes of movies getting made. There's like every disc has a different documentary too, so it's pretty cool. So, I know it's expensive. It's like 100, I think it's 129 on sale, but it's got 14 movies. It's got 2 soundtrack CDs. It's got a book.
That's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Arrow
that is something
really nice stuff.
That's something that should cost that much because it probably was so complicated to get that together in the first place.
Plus, a lot of this stuff is, if it was released in the U.S., it was on single discs or it was on inferior DVDs. Like this has like multiple language options. You know what's crazy about it? Even for some of the movies, there's different VHS releases, and they put the scenes kind of like you and I were talking about the Friday the 13th. Blu-ray has like the uncensored violence. For some of the movies, if there was a Cantonese VHS that had extra scenes, they actually inserted them into the movie, and you can pick to watch them in seamless format, so you can see the movie with those scenes added in or not added in. So that's pretty awesome. There's even radio spots for all the movies as they played in the U.S. Like, because a lot of the Shaw Brothers stuff, the 36 Chambers movies, obviously played grindhouses because that's where the Wu-Tang Clan discovered them. 90% of their lyrics in the first album are about the 36 Chambers movies, So there's a whole documentary about Shaw Brothers in the U.S. and about their influence on hip hop. So it's a really wild set. I'm really excited about it. I have to tell you, Bill, this is not movie related, but podcast related. I started listening to this podcast, 33 and a Third. It's Prince Paul from the producer, and he has different guests on to talk about albums. And the episode about Portishead's Dummy with the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan is one of the best things I've ever listened to. It's amazing because I didn't realize how deep the RZA's knowledge of music. He talks about Tom Waits even in it, like how he tries to capture a sound. And what I never knew about what Portishead did is they couldn't afford a lot of the samples that they wanted to use, so they decided to record their own versions of stuff that sounded kind of like them, and then they pressed vinyl of the stuff that they recorded themselves, and then sampled the vinyl so it had the sounds of vinyl, which is fucking ridiculous. Like
That's the long way around.
it's
Yeah.
the super long way around. The RZA was laughing at it. He goes, "Yeah, I kind of had that idea, but I was like, that seems like a lot of work." But yeah, it's pretty wild. Also, like what's amazing is how little anybody really knows about any of the members of the band because they rarely, if ever, did interviews. I think Beth, the singer, has done 3 interviews in her whole life. So like a lot of like nobody really knows what some of the lyrics are about. And then there's a lot of Morricone samples that they actually did clear on it, and it's really interesting of how they reversed some of the guitar parts are literally backwards or phasered backwards, and like they kind of play them forwards and back so you can hear how they got it. And there's a couple Plesioteca and Jawa soundtracks that they actually took, like humming is actually taken directly from one of those songs, and they show how they did it. It's on Spotify, but it's a great show. And if you like movie soundtracks and you like the kind of Italian and Eurospy kind of, and Morricone and that kind of musicians, it's a really great episode, especially because the Riz is super into, he's made his own kung fu movies and is really influenced by Shaw Brothers. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Portishead Live in New York is probably in my top albums ever. It's very emotional to listen to. So yeah. Anyway, Bill, before we go, I wanted to ask, what direction are you going for your holiday movies of your favorites? Are there any that people might not expect?
No, you'll expect everything.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to hit us with like Home for the Holidays, not the TV movie. Yeah. The teardrop.
Not the TV movie? What's not the TV movie?
There's a Holly Hunter movie called Home for the Holidays, too.
Oh, like a Hallmark?
No, it's a
Channel thing?
theatrical one, but Becca really likes it. I like the TV movie a lot. The TV movie, I would argue, is also a Jawa, an Americanized one, with a mass killer and family issues. That's a pretty twisted movie, too. I really like that.
Home for the Holidays is good.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my list, though. It's a short list. But probably my all-time favorite holiday horror film would be Silent Night, Bloody Night. I really like that for some reason. Like Black Christmas used to be my number one favorite movie. It's still, it's hard to decide. But currently, I'm more into Silent Night, Bloody Night. Just because for years I just kind of took it for granted. I've only recently started to really appreciate the atmosphere in that movie as being something that you could look forward to at Christmas, because there is a lot of weird, chilly atmosphere in that movie, even though it's not all about Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not like Black Christmas, but it's a good one for Christmas. What were you going to say?
No, I agree with you. That's an interesting pick. I would pick Black Christmas first, but I think I am just so obsessed with that movie.
Me too.
It's really good. It's such an important film to the slasher genre too. So,
Yeah, it's hard to go back in time to the moment that I saw that movie the first time, because I watched it alone late at night, and I guess I hadn't seen it up to that point. This was probably like the mid 90s was the first time I really sat down and watched Black Christmas. I feel like I could have seen it before that, but I don't remember. But even in the mid 90s, like I was in my mid 20s, and I was really freaked out by that movie. It was just so strange, and the idea that this character that we've come to identify as the final girl, the idea that she would be murdered at the end of the movie just because people were too stupid to look in the attic, like that was a big idea to get used to.
Yeah, I remember Becca and I watched it, and the first time she saw it, she said, wait, you don't find out who the killer is? And I'm like, no. Like, you can guess it could be a couple different people. She's like, I don't like that. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't that realistic? Like, that's how it works. You know what I mean? You might never find out. And that's
There
what
could have been two killers.
yeah. And that's what I really like. I love about that. I'm really excited for you to see Dial Code Santa Claus. I think you're really gonna love it. It's a really out there movie. It was a movie I was obsessed with getting for the longest time on Blu-ray because it was a never release in the U.S. kind of thing. And now Vinegar Syndrome released it. It's on Shudder often too. Joe Bob showed it last year. So, the other thing I wanted to tell you, Bill, is I'm doing the another Hole in the Head festival, which is in San Francisco, but you can attend it virtually. And the really cool thing about it is there's a Coffin Joe movie that's never been released anywhere that's playing the festival called. It's only played one other time, never in the U.S. It played his a festival of his films. It was put together. It was actually a movie he made for a TV movie, and the station where they made it for burned down, and they found it in his office when he died. It was the pieces that were left of it that were kind of burned were in a garbage bag in his office. They reassembled it, and it's based on one of his comic books that he wrote. And man, it's really crazy. It's about a guy who insults a witch, so she makes him have a mouth in his stomach, and it has to eat all the time. And it's very creep showy, like, I mean, very EC Comicsy. But it's cool to get another Coffin Joe movie. Like, how right?
What year was this?
This is originally, it was made in 1967, I think. 67. That version was lost in 1969. In 1980, he tried to film a second version, but ran out of money. Finally, it was somewhat completed in 2007. They completed it last year, and then they actually had to use a lip reader to figure out what was being said, and some of the dialogue because the audio was so destroyed. And they re-looped the audio, redid some of the effects. It's all digitally edited, and it's bumped up to 2K, so it looks really nice. So it's kind of cool that, you know, we're getting like a lost Coffin Joe movie. There's a really great Friday the 13th fan film, Vengeance 2 Bloodlines, which is free on YouTube right now. But it has everybody, literally everybody from Jason Lives, including the director who's in this movie. I really dug that. There's another movie called, Bill, that you're going to really like called EBGB TV. It's about this cable box that starts turning up in people's homes, and it has like a pulsating brain in it. And when you watch it, it possesses you. And like, it's like the movie's about what TV shows are on this channel. And there's like, it's very quick clip, like movie and TV parodies, but always that kind of horror based. It's really funny, and it's really good. I really dug that a lot. They're also playing Jaws: The Revenge live, a VHS version of it with live commentary. And there's a band called Sleep Bomb, from a black metal band from San Francisco, and they're going to be doing Night of the Living Dead with them playing the soundtrack live on stage, which is a kind of cool, interesting way to see Night of the Living Dead. But yeah, this fest has a ton of shorts. Also, the Profane Exhibit, which has a section directed by Ruggero Deodato, and a deep fake version of Night of the Living Dead that is made with Chilean comedians instead of the actors from Night of the Living Dead. I don't know how that's going to work. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm still working my way through the movies. There's a lot of really cool stuff playing at this fest, and if you go to my site, you can check out how to go watch it. So I have probably about 80 movies left to watch. So
You still haven't seen that movie Marvin yet, have you?
no, what is Marvin?
Marvin is about this guy. He's a doctor, and he lives in this suburban community, and he's got this, it's like an eyes without a face kind of story. Like, his son has this deformed face, and he keeps trying to find somebody who could be a face donor for his son. It's like Mansion of the Doomed. Eyes Without a Face, that kind of thing. And they, there's an older brother who helps him murder people for their faces.
Oh wow.
But it's that kind of a story, which we've seen that kind of thing before. But this is sort of like a real people scenario. Like this guy lives in a middle class suburban neighborhood, and he just seems to be. I don't really know what his background was, to be honest. What kind of a doctor he was, but it's just really bizarre. And it's shot on video. It's very homemade movie kind of looking.
Oh,
Which sort of gives it this more sense of realism.
The other movie I like, I think you'll dig, is Do Not Disturb. I would probably foresee that coming onto Shudder this year. It's about a couple who hate each other. They're married, but their marriage sucks, and they go on a Mexican vacation to try to fix it. Which that never works, right? Your problems go with the vacation. They're on the beach hanging out, and they find a bunch of pills on the ground, and the wife says, let's just take them. Let's see what happens. Bad idea. They turned into cannibals.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know, but holy shit, this movie goes there. It's pretty wild.
What? See, there's cannibalism again. Why is that always presented as?
This is cannibalism instead of addiction. Cannibalism as kind of like cucking and swinging, but with cannibals. It's a pretty wild movie. I dug it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, and I'm excited. Scare Package 2 is coming to.
Never turns you on.
Yeah, I mean, if the only thing that's wrong with it is if both parties don't agree to it. You know what I mean? Like you got to be,
Do you remember that movie, The Comfort of Strangers?
Oh yeah.
That was I think Christopher Walken was in that.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't remember the people that were in it. Christopher Walken, Rupert Everett was in it, and was it Helen Mirren? Natasha Richardson. Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren and Christopher Walken were this older couple who lived in Venice, and Rupert Everett and Natasha Richardson. This is the third segment, isn't it?
Yes.
Natasha Richardson. They're this couple that go to Venice to have a vacation to repair their marriage, and of course, a nightmare situation unfolds.
It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't.
Christopher Walken and Helen Mirren are this weird older couple who take this interest in them, and it turns out they've been stalking them. And it turns into this sort of like, weird kinky fetish sexual turn on. Let's find somebody and murder them for a sex game, and we'll see what it feels like.
Oh man.
Kind of rope.
What's this? The Comfort of Strangers?
The Comfort of Strangers.
That's cool. I will definitely check it out.
I saw it at the Pittsburgh Playhouse in the 90s when it was new.
Well, I will definitely check that out. Yeah, I've always found comfort in the kindness of strangers, as Blanche Dubois' line from A Streetcar Named Desire. Well, that makes sense. So I'm excited for next week. Marta, I've been teasing it forever. And, I'm excited for you to watch Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, because I have an inkling that you're going to love it. It's pretty wild. It's got that pace.
A movie where nothing happens.
Yeah, like stuff happens, but it feels like it takes a long time to get there. You're like,
yeah,
could have.
That's okay.
Knocked 40 minutes off. Right? Nah, it was good. This is a good pace. It's like doom metal. You know what I mean? Like, let's just play the same riff for 40 minutes, and when we hit that other riff, you're gonna fucking love it. That's kind of what the movie's like, right?
Don't forget, go to the Etsy shop and pick up this reprinted issue of Holiday Horror. It's our special number 3 from December 2018. It's got all of our favorite holiday horror films in it. Dustin's in it, Sam's in it, all your favorite DIA folks. I think I made a couple of glaring mistakes in this issue, and I don't think I ever corrected them.
That's okay. That's whenever the hardbound ones come out. We do the big end ones, the high end.
It was your article. I think I credited your article to somebody else.
It was probably a better writer, so it worked.
Oh
out.
no, I fixed it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It was your review of Santa Claus, Renee Cardona's Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's almost time to watch that movie. It's only once a year. A movie where kids conspire to kill Santa. The other thing I love about that movie is that, like, they bought the rights. But like, if you're going to make a Santa movie, like Santa doesn't live on the North Pole; he lives on Saturn. Like, you know what? Fuck it, we'll do whatever we want, and that's what's great about the movie.
Why wouldn't you? It's your movie,
man. It is really, really wonderful. It should be a Christmas movie in everybody's house. I'm trying to add to the Christmas movies I like. I watched a lot of Thanksgiving movies though, and I gotta say there's a slasher from 2015 called Christie. And man, have you seen that, Bill?
I saw your list. I haven't seen that movie.
Christie's really good. It's about this gang of kids on the dark web that find women they think are rich, religious women, and try to kill them because they want to destroy God. And this girl really isn't rich, but they think she is. They try to kill her. She's a student at a college, and it's a really good slasher. It's got a lot of good stock and slash in it, and it's really cool because like she goes from, instead of becoming a final girl, she kind of goes from being afraid to being very capable and learning what they're doing and learning from them, and actually becoming as dangerous as them by the end of the movie. But it feels like a really natural progression, and it's really, really good. So I highly recommend it. It's on Tubi for free. It's out. There's so much shit on Tubi. Like, I hate when people are like, I'm bored. I'm like, there's 900 movies on Tubi you could watch right now. Wouldn't it be
so
catchy?
many options.
That's Elvis up there. Elvis snuck in on you guys.
Yeah, this isn't the same cat that's normally sitting up there. Usually it's Andy.
That's Elvis up there right now, and he is a big 25 pounder, a monstrous cat. But that's him. Very sweet, very gentle. Also pukes nonstop. He's woke me up 5 this morning. But yeah,
what respectable cat wouldn't puke whenever they had the option?
Oh, and always on the carpet. There's so much hardwood. Like, can you just skip? You hit the hardwood? Nope. No,
they seek the carpet.
They see the carpet feels good to puke on. If you're gonna puke on the carpet, right?
Or the bed.
Right on the pillow. Try to hit me with it.
Yeah,
hit me with it while you're at it. Oh man. Hey, this was a really fun episode, by the way.
I know. I had a blast. Thanks to Jennifer Upton for joining us on tonight's program, and thank you once again to Grindhouse Releasing for giving us a copy of Death Game to give away. And thanks to everyone who tuned in. We hope you'll go to.
Go ahead. Sorry, I mean to catch up.
We hope you'll go to the Grindhouse Releasing website and pick up Death Game or something else for cheap. It's almost 50% off of most of their stock. And Sam, what were you going to say?
First off, I like that Matt referred to himself as a peanut gallery character, as if we're all playing roles in this grim psychodrama that is.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's I'm excited to say silly drunk things the third segment. In the chat, obviously, I am a peanut gallery character. So, like, okay, like that kind of blew my mind a little bit. Maybe I drank a lot tonight. Second, Jen is working on 2 different books right now, so pretty exciting. She's a really great writer. She wrote a couple things on the site this week, and she's really into Japanese and Hong Kong cinema, and is very insightful, as you guys could tell when she was on earlier.
Yeah, she's great.
I'm really excited when she's on and she's writing something for the next issue, right?
She is. She did a review of Night of the Demon.
Oh man, she has a poster of it in her house. I do know that. She said her landlord saw it and said, "What is that?" She said she had that Baphomet doll out and the Night of the Demon poster, and her landlord's very religious. And she said, "Man, but
Good.
that's how to do it, right?"
I hope he went into his prayer closet and prayed to that weird thing with all the arrows in it and the glowing eyes.
Oh man, yeah.
Come back next week and watch some more fantastic films with us. Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary, and Marta. We'll be back same time, same place next weekend. Have a good
Under 17
weekend.
not admitted without parents or guardians. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.